Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to dig a little deeper in this quid pro quo. Did you not say in your opening statement and in previous testimony in closed-door hearing that you thought there was a quid pro quo?
I thought the quid pro quo was the DNC server and Burisma investigation.
So when you heard Burisma, you did not see that as code for Biden, the Bidens?
I did not.
When did you even know that? Is your testimony that you only realized that Burisma included the Bidens when the readout came out in September 25th?
No, my testimony wasn't specific as to the date because I really don't recall the date. It was very late in the game, though.
September?
I don't recall the date.
So if I told you that the legal definition of bribery was an event of offering, giving, soliciting, or receiving of any item of value as a means of influencing an action of an individual holding a public or legal duty, do you believe that not only was it quid pro quo, but it was bribery?
I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to characterize what something was or wasn't legally.
You also said in your opening statement that Secretary Perry and yourself, as well as Ambassador Volker, worked with Giuliani on the Ukraine matter as an express direction of the president. Is that right?
That's correct.
You also go on to say that we did not want to work with Giuliani. Simply put, we played the hand that we were dealt. What did you mean by that? And more importantly, what did you think would happen if you did not play that hand?
I think what you're asking me is, well, you asked it.
I did ask it.
What would happen if we didn't? It was very fragile with Ukraine at the time. There was no new ambassador. The old ambassador had left. There was a new president, and we thought it was very, very important to shore up the relationship.
In fact, you actually said, you go on to say, we all understood that if we refused to work with Mr. Giuliani, we would lose an important opportunity to cement relationships with the United States and Ukraine. So quote, we followed the president's orders. Did you see it as a directive?
I saw it as the only pathway to moving forward on Ukraine.
So you would say that the efforts that Mr. Giuliani was undertaking became a part of the formal Ukraine-U.S. policy?
I can't opine on that. All I can tell you is the president wanted us to communicate with Mr. Giuliani.
But you went on to say that you, in your opening testimony, that the suggestion that you engaged in some, quote, irregular or rogue diplomacy is absolutely false. So if in fact what Giuliani was doing was okay and proper, which is actually what you said, initially you all thought that what he was doing was not improper, right?
We did not think it was improper, and when I referred to the fact that I was not engaging in rogue diplomacy, by definition, rogue diplomacy would have meant I would not have involved the leadership of the State Department and the White House.
So you're saying that everyone in the chain of command knew about Giuliani's efforts to try to get the investigations into Burisma and to, so I'm just trying to figure out what you thought you were actually opining to.
Look, the president directed us to work with Mr. Giuliani, and the leadership of the State Department were knowledgeable, as was the NSC, that we were working with Mr. Giuliani.
Well, what's interesting is that Ambassador Taylor testified that he knew nothing about it, and clearly he would be in the chain of information if he was the ambassador to Ukraine. At the end of the day, sir, with all due respect, you're the ambassador to the European Union. Why would he not know about it?
I don't know.
He was the one who said that there was both a regular and irregular channel.
He should have known about it.
So although although you said that you did not want to work with Mr. Giuliani, you in fact did work with him.
That's correct.
And do you think that the essence of what he was trying to achieve was accomplished?
I don't know what he was trying to achieve.
You clearly had to have known, sir. If you think that this was actually going down the center lane, is what you said, it was clearly important that we work with Mr. Giuliani to get what the president asked for because it was a directive and an order. Surely you must know whether or not mission was accomplished.
Well, I know what Mr. Giuliani communicated to us.
And you thought that was totally fine? Did you really think that it was okay
Can
for...
I answer your question?
Sure.
You asked what Mr. Giuliani was trying to achieve.
No, I asked whether you thought that it was right for Mr. Giuliani to want to accomplish the efforts that he was involved in, which was to get them to investigate Burisma and the 2016 election, as you said.
All I can testify to is what I know that Mr. Giuliani either told me directly or told Ambassador Volker and others that was relayed to me.
Thank you. I yield back.